Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a video on the R4 tires. A lot of times I hear people beating up on them, saying that they're either too aggressive or too aggressive for grass or not aggressive enough for dirt. I have found them to be pretty good. I find it to be a very good tire that will serve a lot of different needs. Okay, so this is the L3800. I bought this tractor back in like 2013. So it's got 8 years on it. These are the original R4s in the back. All right, you can see how they got, basically they've done a lot of work through rocks and stuff like that. So they've been torn up. I mean, not that torn up, but you can see that they've worked pretty hard. Now, one of the things I like about R4 tires is that they got a lot of rubber, right? There's a lot of rubber here. These are intended to be construction tires, which means that they're designed so that if you run over the occasional screw or nail, it's less likely to puncture the tire. Not it can't puncture the tire, but it's less likely, and that's something that's important to me, because these things are expensive. I don't want to have to be changing tires any more frequently than I need to. Okay, so the other thing with the R4s is they have a very tough sidewall. So the sidewall over here tends to be a little bit thicker than what you'll find, let's say, on R1s or on some turf tires. I mean, obviously there's going to be variations from different brands, but that's one of the things I like about these R4s. They're tough, as you can tell from the scratches on them. They've worked on through rocks and stuff like that, so they're pretty good. Now the R4s in the front, this is the second batch. I've had to replace these. I think I replaced these about 4 years ago. These smaller tires are going to wear out faster. They're also going to take more of a beating because they're steering tires, so they're moving around, they're hitting stuff. Now, the reason why I replaced my original R4s in the front, and not because the treads had worn out, but because there was cracks starting to develop that was basically just letting the air out. Okay, and I still have one of those tires. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you at the later part of the video, because basically I have another tractor. I have an L3901 that I just bought this year. I have that at a different location, and I'll take you over there and I'll show you that. Now these, like I said, these tires are about 4 years old. You can see how there's like chips and stuff in here, from some of the work that I've done. All right, I primarily use this tractor for my personal use, for basically servicing my businesses. So it's not, occasionally I'll take a side gig where I'm grading somebody's driveway, with some gravel, or I'm spreading out dirt. So occasionally I will take a side gig, but I mostly use this for maintaining my own properties. And I've done a couple of different projects. I'll show you guys later in the video one of the projects that I did, where it basically these tires came in. These tires did a lot of work. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is a lot of people, when they talk about R4s, they tend to say that it tears up the grass. Right now it's October, so the grass is starting to turn, but I pretty much parked the tractor right here in this area. All right, so this is more or less where this tractor has spent most of the summer working, and as you can see, it does pretty good on grass. If I come over here to this area over here, there's a space over here between the shed and the fence where I probably have driven through a couple of hundred times. Not in a day, right? But over a month or two, I probably have driven through here a couple of hundred times. In the given week, I might drive through here like maybe 10 times, let's say. So as you can see, the grass is not being torn up by these tires, and it just rained yesterday, right? So we had basically 2 days of rain, and I was driving through here before. As you can see, I got about 700 pounds of weight in the back. The tires are filled, right? So there's fluid inside these tires about 75% of the way up to about over here. So I would say that each of the tires probably weighs about 500 pounds. So the 2 tires together weigh 1,000 pounds, and then there's another 700 pounds in the back. You know, and then you got the loader that weighs about 800 pounds. Basically, we're talking about a 5,000 pound machine over here, right? You know, fully ballasted with the loader. You know, all that weight on it, and it's not doing too bad on the grass. Okay, so as far as cutting grass, this works fine. Now I was recently doing some work on this shed over here. I kind of rebuilt it. So in the process, I mean, yeah, we did drop a lot of nails and screws on the ground over here in this area, which I went through with a magnet and tried to pick up. You're never going to get everything. So again, that's a situation where, you know, I prefer tires that, you know, if they hit the occasional nail or screw, they're not just going to pop on me. One of the things I do is in my toolbox, I got 2 toolboxes back here. I also keep a punch kit. So let me see if it's in the open this up. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I had to kind of move myself in the right position. So if you're looking here, one of the things I keep in my toolbox, right, is a tire plug kit. So if I do run over a spike or a long stake or something, I can plug the hole real quickly, because remember, you got that fluid in there. You don't want that fluid coming out, because that's expensive. So you want to be able to plug it real quickly. Now, one of the things I'm going to say about the front tires, and when I look at some of the bigger tractors, like, because this is the L3800, when I look at like the 4700 or a 4701 or the MX series, you know, my thoughts don't go to the loader capacity or the pulling capacity. My immediate thoughts go to the tires in the front, okay? Because I'm very jealous of bigger tractors that have bigger tires in the front, because most of the issues that I have had with this tractor, like in the middle of a job, involved the tire coming off of the bead, okay? And that's because, you know, a lot of times you're just working in rocky areas or muddy areas, and a couple of times what I did is this valve over here, it doesn't have a valve protector. In the back, they have this valve protector, so if a rock goes in there as you're working, because sometimes I'm in mud all the way up to the axles, right? I've been in mud all the way to that top axle over there, and what happens is, if you're going through mud, big rocks can come in here and they'll hit your valve. That's protected back there. The front is not. So this past summer I was working, and basically that, as it was going around, it hit a rock, and basically that just got broken right off. I know that Kubota does sell rims with valve protectors. I kind of was hoping that the new tractors would come standard. I just bought an L3901, a new one, and it didn't, and that's one of the things I didn't inquire. I told the salesman, hey, is that something I can upgrade to? And he said that it wasn't available, you know, unless I basically just bought a new rim. So at some point, when it's time to replace this, right? Because when the time comes to replace the tire, I mean, I think the tire is like I think $100, right? And then the tire with the rim, I think, is $250. And what's going to happen is your rim is going to get beat up, right? You can see how that's a little beat up right there. So when the time comes to change the tire, just change the whole thing out, get a whole new rim, and get one that has the valve protector, because that's a real vulnerability on the front tires, right? That valve that's just sticking out there, if you're working in mud, it's going to get hit. Okay. Hey, I'm going to take you guys up front and show you a couple of areas that I cut, a couple of grass areas. So this is the front of my house over here. I cut this with that tractor, with a 6-foot finishing mower in the back. And occasionally I'll drive through here. As you can see, those R4s don't tear up the grass, even though they're fully ballasted in the back. You know, same thing here. You can see grass is fine. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why you may not want R1s, which are more aggressive and great for working in mud, is, yeah, those are going to tear up the grass, but not just your grass, also your gravel, right? The R1s are going to have a better chance of, you know, they're going to start digging into the gravel. So if you got gravel, that's another reason why the R1s may not be great for that. But the R4s seem to be just fine. Have not been tearing up my gravel, have not been tearing up my grass. So yeah, here's another area over here. Again, I drive through here pretty frequently with the tractor. And again, this is the mid-October, so the grass is starting to turn a little bit. Okay, but yeah, I come through here. I was just in this area before. Those R4s are pretty decent with the grass. I don't have any complaints. I should probably mention I cut this grass about 2 weeks ago. So end of mid-October, the grass is not growing very fast. So in the springtime, if you damage your grass, it's gonna it'll grow back faster. End of the summer, if you damage your grass, you're probably not gonna see grass again until the spring. So this is my kids' play area. As you can see here, again, I cut this with that tractor. I cut this like about 2 weeks ago. No problem running those R4s in here. I can probably tell you guys that foot traffic will probably do more damage than the R4 tires, because over here is basically a spot where I walk around a lot, right? There's an area with high foot traffic, right? And you can see right down the middle over here how the grass is kind of like, basically kind of dead. Right, that's not from driving the tractor through here. That's from basically feet. Okay, so feet, can do a lot more damage to the grass than the tractor. So now, of course, this is an area that I walk back and forth every day, right? So with the tractor, when I'm cutting the grass, or if I'm driving through, I might go through once or twice or 3 times in the day. So there's a lot less. The tractor tends to go through areas less. So I'm going to take you guys to a different location now where I have a different tractor, and I'll show you some of the concerns I have over there and how great, how well the R4s have been doing. All right, guys, I got you guys now at a different area. This is one of the original tires on my L3800. If I zoom in over here, you can see how after 8 years of work, how it's cracked, right? And what was happening, this was leaking air from these cracks, all right? And what I did is I put like Fix-A-Flat in this thing, and I still use this as a backup tire, right? But that's one of the things that's gonna, that's gonna happen. You're more likely to, this is more likely to kill your front tires than anything else. All right, so this is my new L3901. I've had this now for I think about 2 months. Reason why I got this is because I have a couple different locations that are like spread out, and I have a trailer. And what was happening is sometimes it's just a big hassle trailering one tractor back and forth all over the place, especially from the furthest points. So it made a lot more sense just to get a second tractor. So that's what we got here. So this one's got new R4s on it. Okay, now part of the reason why I got this tractor is one of my main concerns was snow clearing. Okay, because like most of the dirt work that I do, or the landscaping type of work, that you're less pressed for time, right? So you can kind of schedule that out as you want. But with the snow removal, right, that snow comes down every place at once, and it all has to pretty much be removed at once. So with regards to snow removal, the most important feature is back here, this counterweight. All right, so I got 1,000 pounds of counterweight on the back of this tractor, and that's what's going to make these, that's what's going to pin these tires to the ground and give them traction. I think that's more of a factor than what type of tread you have on the tractor, right? How much weight you have on that tractor. So this is a combination of the tires are both filled, right? So the 2 tires in the back together are about 1,000 pounds total, and I got another 1,000 pounds here. So I got 2,000 pounds on the back. And, everybody's pretty aware that most tractors are going to run out of traction before they run out of horsepower. Well, here's the thing to consider. If you put enough weight on the tractor, especially over your drive wheels, eventually you'll get to the point where you're utilizing, all of the power of the tractor. Now, it might be at a point, like, I don't know what that number is. Like, let's say it's 10 tons. It might be at a point where obviously the chassis of the tractor can't handle it, and you're going to destroy the tractor. But the point I'm trying to bring out, that when it comes to tires and trying to get maximum traction, I think a more important factor than the tread pattern is how much weight you've got on the tractor. Okay, so now as far as snow removal, I mostly just use the bucket. All right, and part of the reason why I use the bucket is because I gotta get into a lot of like weird areas. I'm gonna do a separate video covering the details of that. All right, and then over here I got my stump bucket. That's really good for digging. This does a lot of the work that a backhoe would do. All right, so let me move on. I want to show you guys a little bit more about the area that I typically run over with these R4s. So a little further back over here. So here's the thing. If you look at the ground over here, right? If I was running with R1s, I would probably be tearing this up and it would be a muddy mess. You can see how I got gravel on the ground over here. All right, you can see how the shells are like flattened out. But the ground is not being torn up and muddy, okay? So over here I got shells on this side. I try not to drive so much over this area. Because basically that, trying to maintain an area where where it doesn't get muddy, but I do drive a lot through here. Right now, one of my concerns is, like, if you look over here, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. Look at these casings, right? From AK rounds and from AR rounds. Right? These things, if you got like thin tires, these things will puncture a hole through your tires, right? And I got them all over the place here where I drive through. You can see how they've been like kind of flattened into the ground by the tractor, and it's just not feasible for me to try and remove this. But this is an example of why the R4 tires, which are construction tires, are better suited, for my needs, right? And here's the thing: I'm not saying that this is going to be your needs. I'm just saying that if your needs are similar to my needs, then this will work for you. So on the one hand, I want heavy-duty construction tires that are not going to puncture when I'm driving over stuff like this. Okay. On the other hand, I don't want like, let's say, like R1s that are gonna just like rip this area up and make it muddy. I want to be able to walk through here, right? So you see I got gravel on the ground over here. Okay. Now I'm gonna take you a little further down this trail. All right. Like I said, I drive this R4s through here all the time. All right, so as you can see, it's not, it doesn't get, it doesn't get all muddy, and it's walkable. So let me show you an area that, let me go a little further out. Okay, I'm in a different area now. This is an area that I was working on for most of the summer. Really muddy in here. You can see how. All right, so here's the thing. I mean, the R1s would probably be better in this area, but the R4s did okay. All right, so in this area here, like at one point, it was an absolute mud pit, right? Even though I've dropped about 40 tons of modified gravel in here. All right. Despite the fact that it was muddy, I was, with that counterweight in the back, right, with a total of 2,000 pounds, because I got 1,000 pounds on the 3-point, and then the tires being filled, another 1,000 pounds over there, so a total of 2,000 pounds on the back end. What that was doing is it basically shifts your weight back so your front tires don't sink so much into the mud, right? Because that was an issue. Like when I first started this project early in the summer, I had brought in fact, the first tractor I showed you guys, the L3800, did most of the finishing work in here. The truth is, I actually did most of this work with an excavator, but I had to bring in the tractor to do a lot of the fine tuning, and that stump bucket was very useful. So originally, when I was working here, I only had about 500 pounds of weight on the back of the tractor. And what I found was that the wheels were just like, when I was loading up the bucket, the wheels were just like going straight into the mud, like all the way up to the axles. And then when I increased the weight on the back up to 1,000 pounds, it was a lot better. Now, if you drive through enough times through the soft mud that's in here, you will eventually start sinking all the way up to your axles, but you'll be able to make more passes, you know, with the weight on the back before you get to that point. So R1s probably would have been a little bit better in here, but you know, that's like only one place where I think they would have helped me in this muddy situation that I have here. So that's why I think the R4s are kind of like a good place to be, where it you know, it's good in the snow, good in the mud, good on grass. You know, it's very, very versatile like that. So I hope you guys found this video useful. And again, I'm not saying that R4s are going to be the best answer for you. I'm just saying that I have found them from my situation, the type of work that I do with the tractors, I have found them to be very suitable, because I'm going from mud to grass to snow to gravel to, you know, all, you know, so I needed something, you know, that was very versatile and also like pretty strong, because again, I'm also going over you know, rocks, and I'm going over, sometimes I'm working in areas where I got screws and nails, or I got you know, casings that I'm driving over. So the R4s have been very versatile for me. So hope you guys found this video useful. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Talk to you guys soon.